Now, I got into this article some. It's 8 pages long. I can't read the whole thing. By Dean Henderson at Infowars.com, appearing at globalresearch.ca. The Federal Reserve Cartel. And by the way, this is in the top tiles of Infowars.com. I want to make this a featured story as well. They're in the featured news area. The Federal Reserve Cartel, the 8 families, the 4 horsemen of banking, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo, own the 4 horsemen of oil. And they go through all the SEC filings. ExxonMobil, Royal Dutch Shell, BP Amoco, and Chevron Texaco. That's how they could get the oil companies to accept carbon taxes. In tandem with Deutsche Bank, BNP, Barclays, and other European old money behemoths, but their monopoly over the global economy does not end at the edge of the oil patch. And the article goes through with all incredibly footnoted with how they control and have the chairmanships or on the boards of the entire publicly traded Fortune 500. And it's got the families who are involved in the whole situation. Very important article up at Infowars.com. Meanwhile, we have sickening trailer. I don't have time to play, but HBO film, Too Big to Fail, critics trailer, HBO, and it worships. In fact, even the AP said that it makes Henry Paulson to be a hero and the big banks as great people. I mean, and every comment I saw on YouTube was calling them scum, saying we're awake to you, stop lying, you're deceiving all these people. In the Fed, don't get fooled again. And it just literally no one is buying them. Oh, what a joke. What an absolute joke. I mean, just 4 or 5 years ago, very few Americans knew the Federal Reserve was private. Now in polls, upwards of 85% know it's private and want it abolished. And the fact that we've now identified, old-timers back in 1913 fought it and identified it, but the fact that with the general public, we've now identified the true illegitimate shadow government, who, by the way, is financing all the tyranny, the police state to suppress us on record. The fact that they're now identified really begins the end for the New World Order. And they've always known that. That's why they say openly in their white papers, we can't manage 7 billion people on this planet. We've got to get rid of these folks. We've got to highly engineer society and drug the society and control them. And if you want sources on that, it's a free film. It's online. Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. WhatIsTheEndgame.com is a full bibliography of the film with documents. The UN, Ted Turner, Maurice Strong, hundreds of these people. And then the university white papers, the UN biological diversity assessments. I mean, look at these articles just out today. The good news is when I was covering this 16 years ago, almost no one else was talking about it. This was not even on the radar screen. And if I'm proud of anything, it's that we pioneered in the modern age confronting politicians as guerrilla journalism, drive-by, Limbaugh would call it, asking them real questions and watching them blow up. That is now ubiquitous out there. I'm very proud, and it shows what you can do as well, getting others to emulate what you've done and even add to it and make it better, that we've pioneered the modern info war against the mainstream media, that we've pioneered getting folks to actually look at the globalist-owned documents and the scientific dictatorship. I am very proud of that, and proud of you, the listener, spreading the word, because it's a symbiotic relationship, all of us together. The Examiner says GMO-created foods may be used as biological weapon. And then it goes through the whole Codex Alimentarius and links through to the actual documents, and it links through to the Salem News. Antibodies from women with a rare condition known as immune infertility are used in the creation of GMO food. There has been a concerted national effort by citizens to have the U.S. government label GMOs, opposing it or government intent not only to keep them unlabeled, think about that, in the U.S., but efforts at the international level by the U.S. government to remove all labeling from GMOs through Codex. The problem is that Codex applies to food and GMOs don't qualify. William Engdahl, great researcher, wrote in 2010 about USDA-funded project to create a GM corn that sterilizes people. Now, we've been covering this for a decade. Engdahl picks it up. Now, others pick it. See, it takes time. You're not going to break this stuff out overnight. It takes time. And then it links to Engdahl's article that has all the sources, the links, Bill Gates talking about it on video, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's all there. Gates saying we've got to reduce the population, down to almost zero. All these bizarre statements. I mean, the mosquitoes that have vaccines preloaded into them so you can't escape. And here's the Ingdahl article. Bill Gates talks about vaccines to reduce population. And then he goes through the USDA-funded project to engineer this antibody into the corn. It's called pharmacological corn. And folks, we're not in 1950 anymore. I get emails going, you can't engineer something into corn. Ladies and gentlemen, they have hundreds of corn crops alone where the corn pieces grow whatever drug they want in them, and they just smash the corn and take the essence out of it. And they've got HIV vaccines. They've got insulin drugs. I mean, just hundreds of things. They're releasing salmon that are part insect and other fish. We're not in Kansas anymore, okay? I'm not, just Google spider goats. Google cow is 20% human. Sheep is 15% human. Pig is 30% human. Chimpanzee is half human. And they put this in the Washington Post. I mean, they've developed all this in these thousands of laboratories. Now, here's the issue. They have thousands of labs randomly splicing. I mean, I remember 15 years ago, BBC, that in Taiwan, for a couple $100, you could buy a glowing rhesus monkey that's part jellyfish, and in the dark, they glow because they have stinging cells. They admitted they're miserable and they're in pain all the time, but rich yuppies in Taiwan just snatch them up. Folks won't believe that. Guys, search monkey part, glow-in-the-dark monkeys part jellyfish. It'll be Wired. It'll be BBC. They reported since 15 years ago about it a lot of times. See, this is what's going on. So they tell you, oh, this potato lasts longer and tastes better. But then, oh, magically, that's just one genetic change. They go in and make another change where in the rat studies and the guinea pig studies, guess what? Reduced fertility, increased cancer, all sorts of other fun goodies, and all these bowel diseases, all these other diseases accelerating, all these autoimmune diseases exploding, deaths exploding, and it's just the background noise is being turned up. I'm going to your calls. This is too important. Now, let me give you just a little example. Oh, they're just glowing monkeys inherit jellyfish genes. The genetically engineered primates could lead to better models for studying disease. Oh, that's an article about how great it is. Oh, and look, they glow in the dark. There's photos of it. Isn't that cute? Of course, they really developed, just like a Blade Runner, for sale at shops, genetic engineering shops in Taiwan. Oh, it's actually in Taiwan. I've seen newscasts like Blade Runner. You walk around and, oh, you got a clone of this. You got a clone. Oh, you got this pig's part human. Oh, really awesome. Oh, cool. Oh, you got a spider. Oh, weaponized spider with human genetics. Oh, awesome. I want one of those. But again, we've got to shut down all our industry because carbon dioxide that plants breathe, they respirate from, it's deadly. No, that's a corner on all human activity. Now, let me give you an example. All the top genetic engineers I've interviewed, many of them were making $2-3 million a year, top of their class, and they would find out, hey, this is sterilizing all the guinea pigs. They'd say, shut up or lose your job. Never mind that trait we added. Well, I can't be part of this. Oh, you can't be part of this. Remember the famous British scientist went public about it. Then they get fired and sued and later get vindicated. Now, here's the issue. Just one example. In Latin, it translates into English into bacteria-eating virus. And it was approved 6 years ago. Just type in viruses sprayed on meat in U.S. They've also approved radiating the food. Large portions are now radiated, including select cutlets. They also have meat glue, which is artificial blood put into the beef, injected into it to beefen it up. Pun intended. Oh, don't believe me, just type in beef glue. That's been going on for decades. It's genetically engineered artificial blood. Is one of the type of beef glues. They've got some others that are made up of other animal blood. And they actually grow the fake steaks. But again, you don't believe me, just enjoy it. Now they spread. These are vaccines. They have giant facilities, huge tanks where they breed, and of course they can breed other things that they want, but most of the time it is an accident. And then all these mega funguses, resistant E. coli forms, and now resistant E. coli is in the entire food chain. Oh, don't believe me. 1966, Pentagon was looking at weaponized E. coli. When Rumsfeld had just gotten over there, later at Searle, he got it approved. It's known as aspartame. And these weaponized bacteria They feed them forms of toxic waste, then they defecate a toxic but addictive nerve agent, excitotoxin, now admitted in the mainline literature, that is an addictive system that eats holes in your brain and other organs, called aspartame, now in tens of thousands of products. You can't find even sugar gum that doesn't have it added now. I challenge you to. Very hard. Now, that's an example of the genetically engineered E. coli that's now openly in the environment. Oh, you didn't know that's what aspartame is? Oh, don't believe me? Just search aspartame manufacturing process. Now, the reason I raised that is we've got all these deaths with E. coli, and they admit it's a mutant. Now, the scientists I've had on have warned that spraying these live vaccines, live viruses, on the meat to eat the bacteria instead of just giving you clean meat would cause mutations. And that's really, the evidence shows, what's causing all this. We'll be right back. The Hadron Superconducting Super Collider on the border of Switzerland and France, they admittedly are trying to create antimatter, strangelets, black holes. And they admit they don't know what's going to happen, but it's a low probability that it could create something that would destroy the planet. Well, they have another name for a strangelet, well, it's basically in the same family from the quantum mechanics that I've researched, and that is a quark gluon plasma. And major publications are reporting on this. Here's a headline: Large Hadron Collider creates incredibly dense primordial matter. They're trying to recreate the Big Bang. Now, that's really smart. The Large Hadron Collider, see, with stuff 111 years old that Max Planck envisioned in his mind in Germany, he wrote out the atomic theorems for atomic energy, atomic weapons, and then it was envisioned. Well, they've envisioned these, and now they've made one. And if it ever starts grabbing mass, it will fall to the center of the Earth and will do what you've seen in Star Trek. But here's another artist rendering of the latest Star Trek movie where they send in the heavy particle to the center of the planet. And first it falls. In reality, it takes a few years to start doubling. And then once it starts exponentially growing, once that happens, and we'll show you the Star Trek version as well, then just within a matter of seconds, your entire planet collapses into a black hole. How does that sound? And then it sucks the sun in and gets bigger. And these things are all over the galaxy and are photographed in other galaxies, just thousands of black holes, super black holes. They're all over the place. And let's make one here. You know, 111-year-old technology can destroy the Earth today, but let's just do all this now here today. Again, and I talk about this, and yuppies send me emails giggling about it. Because if you giggle about it, everything's okay. And they call me anti-technology. No, I'm not anti-technology. I'm not anti-shotgun. I don't shoot myself in the foot with it, though. And these scientists are megalomaniacs playing God. I mean, they write about it. Well, this may destroy the Earth, but we're going to do it because we've got to see what happens. Here's another artist rendering of what the beginning of the black hole will look like. And a lot of top physicists have gone on record saying that this is a probability of happening because they're going to do thousands of these tests. And they've now made one of these, but it didn't get enough mass and imploded. So, but here it is. The Large Hadron Collider has created a super dense building block of existence. Scientists operating the Large Hadron Collider have announced the creation of a new instance of quark gluon plasma, the densest form of matter ever observed by humanity. The unique material is 100,000 times hotter than the sun. That's a good idea to make that. And denser than any known object other than a black hole. Very smart. It's because it is a precursor of a black hole. To put this in perspective somewhat, a neutron star is said to be approximately as dense as the entire human population compressed into a sugar cube via. And it goes on. I know, but it gets the point across. Quark gluon plasma is denser than that. The LHC team leader, David Evans, says, if you have a cubic centimeter of this stuff, it would weigh 40 billion tons. That's a very good idea to make that here on the planet. We're basically ghost compared to this, okay? We don't exist compared to this. Its weight is so approaching infinity, okay? It'll go right through the Earth like a dose of salts, but it won't go all the way through out the other end. That wouldn't be that big of a problem because that would reseal. It will go to the highest gravity well point in the middle of the spinning core of the Earth, and then it will suck everything in on it. That's a really good idea. I tell you, the globalists, in their quest to be God, are going to just probably destroy us. Somehow a material such as this can exist in its current quantity without destroying everything we know and love, he goes on to say. It's believed that the universe existed as a quark gluon plasma until it cooled into what we've made of today. The LHC created it by smashing together lead ions at nearly the speed of light. Another fabulous idea. You know, you smash uranium and plutonium together and you blow up cities. Hey, let's speed of light lead into each other. Oh, we made the particle. Oh, let's do it again right now. Sorry I didn't get to your calls. This is pretty important. Jaron brought it to my attention. And to show you how jaded I am, I saw this a few weeks ago. I think it was in New Scientist. They were like, oh, wonderful. We made the quark gluon plasma. I remember 8 years ago, the San Francisco Chronicle, an Air Force general was giving a speech. He said, yeah, we've successfully made antimatter, but it's classified. Oh, wonderful idea. Absolutely wonderful idea. 30 years ago, they had fission fusion reactors. They'd artificially made mini suns. You know, more than half the scientists in the Manhattan Project thought that when they detonated the first A-bomb, it was going to burn up the entire world's atmosphere. But guess what? They still did it. And then they tried to blow up the Van Allen radiation belt. Remember that? And I'm going to get to your phone calls, I promise, but I start getting into monkeys that are part jellyfish, spiders that are part goat, part human, chimpanzees that are part human, and medical experimentation, all of this going on, and you tell the general public, they laugh at you because they think of it as some 1950s horror movie. Or they think of it as that movie that came out last year, I didn't see it, but I read about it, Splice. This stuff is going on, and from all the scientists we've interviewed across the board, mainline top scientists, they say when you start splicing species, you give rise to megaviruses, megabacteria, deadly mutations. You create zoological bridges where animal diseases that humans couldn't get can now get. And then you read about Europe E. coli outbreak caused by toxic new mutation strain. E. coli outbreak infects 1,600 across Europe as scientists search for cause. Well, I don't know the cause of this, but I know a lot of the new mutant strains that are coming out, just like when they have vaccine tests that end up killing people, it's kept very quiet. Oh, you'll see a few news articles that, oh, wow, they gave 40 homeless people, you know, in one town in Poland, this flu shot, and 30 of them died. Wow. Well, of course, they were testing it. Look at how our troops get tested on. Look at how the black folks in this country were given syphilis. Now we learn ongoing in Latin America with our government telling kids they're getting a vaccine, shooting them up with syphilis, shooting them up with polio. They got caught just last year. And the year before that, and the year before that, the UN. The UN got caught in the 90s all over the world with a whole bunch of different manufacturers showing it wasn't an accident. Adding a female hormone to a tetanus shot that created an autoimmune response to the hormone bound to the tetanus pathogen, which then caused autoimmune response that caused spontaneous abortions at the start of the second trimester when the female releases that particular hormone. And it turns out the UN did it as a soft kill because they don't want to just keep you from having a baby. They want to try to kill the mother. And so having those miscarriages over and over again in those third world conditions is a really great way to kill these women. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they were caught. Look it up. You've got to come to grips with how evil these people are that are playing God with our society. Let's go ahead and go to some of your phone calls here. Let's talk to Victoria in Montana. Victoria, thanks for holding.
Hello.
Hey, good to have you on with us. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Alex. I just want to thank you for everything that you do every day for humanity. And I wanted to let you know I just renewed my annual Prison Planet TV membership as well. And I feel the same way that you do. The evil ones that call themselves the elite are horrible creatures. that are evil incarnate. And what hurts me the most is that the image, that they give of America to the rest of the world to make us look like we're the ones doing this instead, of them being the ones.
Well, that's why they're masters. They wrap all their evil in the American flag while they fund their wars and domination and eugenics with our money, while they destroy America at the same time. Anything that stands, that's sovereign, that's independent, that's self-sufficient is an enemy of the parasites.
That's right. And this hegemony, like you said, is not coming from the American people. And I want the rest of the world to know that we get treated almost the same way, because they poison our food, our water, take our money, our air, and the neurotoxins and all this through the immunization shots, and how they hurt the little kids.
And Victoria, we have Bill Gates, we have all these world leaders on record going back even to the 20s and 30s, openly saying we're going to put sterilants in vaccines, we're going to put it in food. They have U.S. government grants and programs to develop the rice, the corn, and then they roll it out, and other GMO varieties have the same effect. They're doing it. They're caught. But people come face to face with something this evil, but it's clean cut, it's wearing a suit, and they just can't believe it. That's why women got in the car with Ted Bundy. He was well-spoken, he was wearing a suit, they got in the car. An hour later, they were chained down in a barn with him torturing the daylights out of them. They just can't believe it's happening. And that's why it's now going to happen again. Look at human history. What do most governments end up doing, Victoria, in their histories? How do governments end? What always happens?
It's true, and I'm a teacher and everything, and one of the things that I'm into is history, and in an effort to do my part, because I remember, hearing you like a week ago or so calling for other people to step up and do things, and I have different websites, but I decided to do one that was patriotic, and I gave it a great patriotic name, IamFreeAmerica.com, because I want people to know that even though they're doing this, that we are still free and we have to exercise our freedoms while we can. So I took a document that was 96 years old with these fallen ones bragging about how they took over the banking system and then mocking America to be the last domino to fall in their end game. And I made it into an MP3 and I put it up on that site, www.IamFreeAmerica.com.
Great job, Victoria. Awesome job. Gonna jump. And everybody needs to start their own webcast, their own YouTube channel, their own websites. Don't wait. Turn on the webcam. Talk about any news item, any issue. Get proactive. They're gonna send in COINTELPRO to try to get you infighting with them. Ignore them. Move forward. Warn people that have ears to hear and eyes to see. Don't stop. Call in to talk radio. Folks, I call in to talk radio either in Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, or National. Every day, whether it's in the morning or the night, I stop. I roll down the window every day at red lights and say, hey, tune into 90.1. Tune into 590, stations that carry my show. Tune into 1330 here locally. I mean, I stop. I talk at grocery stores. They start pushing, hey, take our customer loyalty card. I say, actually, they have you signing that contract waiver so they can sell what books I'm getting here at Barnes & Noble to the government. No, I'm not going to sign it. It's like, okay, move along. No. You asked 3 times for me to take this Barnes & Noble's card. Now you're going to get a big speech. I walk in, done it many times at the store, and I say to my children who want a little candy after we go hiking or something, I still like to spoil them. It's not good. And I'll even take the corn syrup. I just can't find something that doesn't have aspartame. Almost every sugar candy now, every fruit candy, every gum. I'll be in a big old gas station with 20 different types of gum. And I'll say, sorry, guys, it's all got aspartame. That's not good for you. And the guys behind the counter will start giggling, or a lot of times they're listeners. Somebody, on a busy Sunday or whatever, will start laughing. And I'll go, oh, it's funny. Do you notice all these gums say aspartame? Do you know it's the feces of a weaponized E. coli? Oh, it's funny. They're like, settle down, sir. I'm like, no, I'm not going to settle down. There's a chemical weapon in this food, and you think it's funny. It's not funny. My children, years ago would say, well, why are you doing this? Now they understand. They're like, that's right. Because we're proud. We're not scared to speak out in front of people. We're not sheep. And then I told that one story of being laughed at by 3 or 4 people inside that big giant gas station on 360. It's got all these pumps, tons of people outside. And I walk out into the beautiful spring day, and every pump is full, and there are people walking in and cars parked where I was freaked out and depressed. Wow, that building was full of ring wraith minions. And I walk out, and literally everybody goes, Alex Jones! Hey, death to the New World Order! And it was like, you know, people with their kayaks and college students and old people and young folks are all high five. Yeah, we're going to defeat them. But see, it's those two different worlds. It's those two different worlds. Because usually I don't walk out of a place and somebody go, Alex Jones. People say, hey, Alex, how you doing? But it was almost like a spiritual moment where inside I'm being laughed at, and so I stand up to them. Folks outside don't hear me. I walk through the big double doors. And boom, it's just like a spontaneous, yay, we're beating him. All right, side issue. Let's go ahead and go back to your calls. John in Texas, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
I wanted to talk about a People Pharmacy column that was in the Houston Chronicle about a month ago talking about salt. They said that salt does not affect your blood pressure one way or the other.
No, they've got hundreds of studies. The statins actually kill you, make you have heart attacks, destroy the brain. It's all on record. Everything they give you to keep you alive is designed to kill you. Sorry, go ahead.
They said that low sodium can lead to heart disease and other health problems. And I might add that no salt can kill you. But when you go to a grocery store, what do you see now? Everything's low sodium, no sodium. That Bolshevik New York Mayor Bloomberg been trying to force all the restaurants to cut back on their salt. It's just part of the eugenics.
Well, he's not trying to force them. He's saying, what, is it $3,000 fines? Guys search $3,000 fines for salt in New York. No, it's total control. We're going to say what type of toilet. We're going to say what type of light bulb. We're going to say what you're going to eat. We're going to tell you can't bring a school lunch for your kids. We're going to run your life. We're going to watch you. We're going to stick our hands down your pants. We're going to force statins and other drugs in the water and lithium. We're going to do it because we care about you, because we're so nice. I'm sorry, go ahead.
They're trying to cut the salt back because they want to kill you off. It's part of the eugenics program. Everybody's going to fall for this, cut back on their salt, and they're going to start dying of heart attacks.
Salt is used in all electrochemical processes in the body. It's one of the most vital things next to water. The difference is if you're eating, it's the artificial salts like monosodium glutamate that are deadly excitotoxins. But notice Bloomberg isn't worried about that. You need salt. You need mineral, natural-based salt. And the more sun you get, you know, the more you, I mean, obviously you don't need a lot of salt if you lay around all day and don't ever exercise. Too much salt can be a problem, but absolutely. The ratios of how much salt they say you should have, I mean, that's what's so dangerous about them telling you and setting the parameters for everything.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, back in the ancient times, salt was that's what they paid their soldiers and their workers.
Let me tell you, when you watch the illegal aliens come in a gas station at 6 o'clock, they've been outside working all day. Those guys have all got soft drinks from Mexico that have real sugar, and they're buying little bags of flavored salt, and they're dumping it in their mouths. Obviously, they would die out in the heat if they didn't have that. It's electrolytes. I mean, again, they know, but the yuppies don't. You got these yuppies collapsing on these long bike rides because they won't get any salt, because they think salt's evil.
Well, that's what, well, it's just part of the eugenics program, Alex. That's what the people need to realize, that you got to have salt to live, and if you cut salt out of your diet, you're going to get sick and you're going to die.
Sir, I was talking to, I don't know if I'm allowed to get into this. Well, Ted's told me I can talk about it. I'm not going to say much. You know, Ted's dad, Ted Anderson, had gotten Alzheimer's so bad that he didn't really know who he was, and Ted was real sad because he couldn't really take him fishing or anything anymore. And for a few months, he got him on vitamins and minerals, liquid ones. And they went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, he's on Coumadin, which is a blood thinner, an ingredient of rat poison. He's never had a stroke or heart attack. They don't tell him to take aspirin. That's a lot better than that from my research. And Ted said, yeah, the last doctor had him for a long time on aspirin. But see, they don't get to charge you as much money if it's aspirin, so they want to give you Coumadin because it's not over the counter. They got to take blood test every few weeks so they get money out of it. And just now they told him get off these minerals. You don't need them; they're bad. And they said they did a blood test and said, oh, you had almost zero vitamin K, but now your vitamin K's up, which you're supposed to have. And his dad's skin was falling off. Old folks just like literally sores everywhere. The skin got healed in just a few months. He knew who he was again. It was like Valhalla. And they just said, no, because when you're on Coumadin, you can't have vitamin K, they say, or the blood gets thick again. And that's the end of it, and now his dad doesn't know who he is again. And the issue is the doctor said no. No, no, no. And then they'll argue, well, we live longer than we used to. Oh, really? Type into the search engine, U.S. life expectancy drops. Now, see, the way they do this is they artificially degenerate you. Then they have systems to get the money out of you to keep you alive. They have treatments for the diseases they've helped engineer. So they treat the symptoms. And the average doctor's compartmentalized doesn't know this, even though their own literature admits, that the statins are killing you and destroying the brain and the heart, even though they admit you need the salt. People don't have vitamin C. In fact, he's not even supposed to get a lot of vitamin C. Now imagine, your skin degenerates, your brain, the collagen connections are built and basically maintained via the metabolic integration between the cholesterols and the vitamin C. But no, you don't get that. So, of course, he finally gets some vitamins and minerals he can think again.
Are you still a traditional smoker? Now experience a new lifestyle and try vaping with e-cigarettes by LeSig. Imagine no ashes, stains, nasty smell, or coughing and hacking. With LeSig e-cigarettes' revolutionary microelectronic technology, rechargeable battery, and unique replaceable cartridge, you'll get all the benefits and satisfaction of smoking without the hazards. Choose your taste from a wide variety of our new American-made vape e-liquids at LeSig.com. And LeSig smokes the competition by serving thousands of worldwide customers with real people customer service, fast, free, same-day shipping, and a 30-day warranty and satisfaction guarantee. So are you ready for a new vaping lifestyle? Then call 870-518-4307. That's 870-518-4307. Or visit LeSig.com, spelled LECIG.com. LeSig e-cigarettes for today's modern smoker.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Will I have garlic breath after I take Ali-C?
We get that question all the time about the world's best garlic extract, Ali-C. And the answer is, Ali-C contains stabilized allicin, nature's antimicrobial agent, and the active ingredient in crushed garlic, but will not give you garlic breath. Scientifically proven in double-blind studies, using low doses of allicin greatly reduces the number, severity, and duration of common colds. Our powerful Ali-C contains 300 milligrams of stabilized allicin. Just one tablet of Ali-C is equivalent to 40 garlic cloves. It's effective against asthma, MRSA, bacterial, fungal, and viral infections, and helps lower high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Plus, it's a natural mosquito repellent. Boosts resistance to infection with nature's best garlic extract, Ali-C. For more information and to order Ali-C, call 877-888-7126 or go to garlichealthproducts.com. That's 877-888-7126 or garlichealthproducts.com. Fight back with Ali-C.
Yeah, we used to grow corn in America, but now we grow it on the moon.
Used to grow food in Kansas